gospel music leaves you with peace, calm, an upbeat feeling, and lasting solace. That's what gospel music does for you. But there are gospel musics which end with a particular period, and then they're not heard for decades after that. And that's what we're going to concentrate. We're going to get you a lot of the music that you don't get to hear too often. We have choirs, we have singing groups, solos, you name it, and also in this wonderful place of Russian Cultural Center, we have also a couple of songs from Russia. So we won't delay. The first group that's going to sing for you is the Kingdom Chorale, and they are going to sing. Can we have them on the stage, please, if you don't mind? Yes, they are coming up. And they're going to sing a classic gospel hit which was composed way back in 1971 by the great gospel composer John W. Peterson. It had everything. He mixed a lot of genres of music, and he came up with a classic which you're going to hear. It's upbeat, so sit back and enjoy the music. Thank you so much. Unsung legends, and Chennai has its own share of unsung legends. We lost one such unsung legend a few months ago called Rajeevan David. He was a maestro on the piano. He could make the piano do anything you want. He could make magic. Okay? Those of us who were lucky to have seen him will know how legendary his piano playing was. Okay? He composed some songs, very few. One such song is a hit called God is My Strength and My Song, Kathar and Belanum in Keetham. His wife wrote the lyrics, Rachel, and he put the song. It's got a lovely, lilting western feel to very Tamil lyrics. So the Bethel ladies will come up and render to this song, Kathar and Belanum. And this is going to be our tribute to the great Rajeevan David. Thank you so much. very synonymous to quite a few hits. Okay. And way back in 1983, Michael W. Smith and his wife were very, very sad because one of their best friends was leaving town and they were going to give him a farewell party. His name was Bill. So Deborah, that is Michael W. Smith's wife, said, we must write a song for him. And in half an hour she sat and wrote a lovely poem. She was a poetess. Michael W. Smith sat on the piano and surprisingly in 5 minutes he had a melody, and that evening in the farewell party they sang it. Everybody was moved to tears, so Michael W. Smith said, if this is such a hit, why don't you put in that album? So they put that song called Friends Are Friends Forever in the album, and the rest was history. It went all over the world. It was popular right up to Japan, and it was even played in the White House, Washington, in special occasions. So this is another wonderful pick from the past, and to render this song to you, we have our very own Michael W. Smith look-alike and sing-alike. So if any of you wondered how Michael W. Smith would look with a pair of spectacles on, you'll know in a moment. So ladies and gentlemen, the leader of the Signatures Band, Dayan Selwyn. long to live is real. Thanks so much. That was Dayan. Never been singer, they never been hit. Next we have an interesting male voice ensemble from Chennai. From the day they started, that was several years ago, they have churned in some of the most delightful male harmony songs that we heard in Chennai. One of the landmark hits was their version of Be Still My Soul. Some of you must have heard it as Finlandia. And today they're here, they called the Canticles. They are taking the stage in a few moments from now. And they'll be giving us a medley of hymns, which will include Be Still My Soul. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, the Canticles led by Arul Kumar. Thanks a lot, Canticles. Can I ask Abby to hang on for a second? Abby? if you can hear me, just turn around. Okay. Ebi is a dear friend of ours. Okay, he's a great tenor soloist, and he's also mentored a lot of soloists. A lot of good soloists have all been personally trained by Ebi. So we'd like to honor Ebi, the leader of the Canticles, with the traditional shawl. And this, to do the honors, can I call Jules Almeida from and Joel from the Kingdom Chorale. Thank you so much. They say in the suburbs of England, there are some churches, few churches, quaint old heritage churches, where they have some of the loveliest choirs in the world. No microphones, no application of any sorts, and the most delightful choral anthems are heard there. A lot of people don't go to the Albert Hall. They go to these quaint old churches in the suburbs of London to hear these old church choirs. Now here in Chennai, quite far away from Chennai city, in the suburbs, in the deep woods of Tambaram, we have an old, almost 200-year college called the Madras Christian College. And they have an almost 200-year-old choir called the Bishop Heber Chapel Choir. Delightful music. If you ever get a chance, please go there and hear them. They are really worth the time and travel. We wanted to feature the whole choir here, but the college couldn't send the whole choir. They sent a double quartet. The last few years, under the leadership of Jacob George, the Bishop Heber Chapel has performed all over India, and they have collaborated with some major choirs. So now we feature the double quartet from the Bishop Heber Chapel, and they'll be singing a lovely old African-American spiritual, which was brought right from the Civil War time down by the riverside. Thank you. very much, Bishop Heber Chapel. Is Divya Teresa here? Anywhere?
Yeah, excellent.
Okay. Thank you so much. Next we feature another song, another kind of music, a jazz gospel classic. There was this very famous jazz composer called Andre Crouch, and he's composed some of the most delightful melodies, classical jazz. One of the most famous songs he sang, or he composed rather, is called My Tribute. Very dramatic, and it brings out a lot of inner emotions. And to deliver this absolute jazz gospel classic for you is an upcoming soprano from Chennai, Divya Teresa. Thank you so much, Divya. Okay. She'll like that? Then she'll be back. Okay, small faux pas, we missed out something. We'd like to call up the conductor of the Bishop's Heber Chapel Choir, Jacob Job. Okay. And we have a little moment of him. Can you come up, please, Jacob? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jacob George, who has fashioned out some of the most delightful choral music, worth going all the way to Thammaram to hear. The conductor of the Bishop Heber Chapel Choir. And to do the honors, from the Kingdom Chorale will come Joel Julius. Thank you. Now, next we feature another male voice ensemble group. This is called the Southern Men, and they will sing a Russian gospel hit. Can we have the Southern Men up, please? Thank you very much. Way back in 1857, there was a young student called Billy Pitts. He wanted to be a medical doctor, and he got admission, but he didn't have the money to go to college. So he did the next best thing. He was a very good organist, so he got a job as a music teacher in a college, and he started forming his own student choir. Now once, when he was traveling by stagecoach to Iowa, the stagecoach broke down in one place, and he saw a valley. He rested in the valley. He found it the most peaceful valley he'd ever seen. Of course, he was very frustrated, bitter, because he couldn't go to college, medical college, and he found such peace, and he kept imagining it would be wonderful to have a church in that valley. Okay, and he started imagining, if I were to have my money, I'd build a church like this long, so many windows, this kind of shape. And then he said, okay, and my budget, I can only afford the cheapest paint. That will be brown paint in those days. So he said, I'll paint it brown. And then of course the stage got repaired and he went home. And he was so taken up by the valley, he wrote a poem and made it a song called The Church in the Wildwood. It's also called the Little Brown Church. Now after a few years, when he was traveling in the same path, as he passed the valley, he said, my God, I must enjoy that valley once more. And then when the valley came, he couldn't believe his eyes. There was already a church being built, finished, and the last paint was being put. And it was exactly the same way that he had imagined in his mind. And they put in the paint. What paint? Brown paint, like you imagined. And then he realized that was not a good imagination, it was a vision that God had given him. So he immediately went to those people building the church and he said, this is what I saw, and even my college choir sings this song. So they said, okay, in 1 month we're going to inaugurate it, come and sing. So his college choir sang that song in the inauguration. The song became a little famous. He got it published, and with the royalties, he went to medical college and became a big famous doctor called Dr. William Pitts. The song has gone all over the world. You don't get to hear the song very often. The church is now a heritage place in near Iowa. People go there to get married, and the song Little Brown Church or the Church in the Wildwood will be rendered to you by the Southern Band. Thank you. Thank you, Selwyn. Next we have another Tamil gospel hit. This was made famous in the 70s by the famous lead singer Sarah Navroji. And after very many years, we're going to hear it sung to us by Bethel ladies. It's called Azhaikirar, Azhaikirar. Those from the 70s will definitely remember this group, the Imperials. They had a definite beat, they had a definite musicality, and they had very deep lyrics. Most of the songs were hits. The best known hit of theirs was a song called Let the Wind Blow. And way back in the late 80s and 90s, when I came to Chennai, the song was being sung quite often. But you haven't heard it for very many years now. This wonderful pick from the past will be rendered today, and we've got the man who made it famous in Chennai all those years ago, Shashi Dayan. So take it away, guys. Thanks.
There's a storm on the horizon. Oh, let the wind blow. Every time the rain go heavy. Oh, let the wind blow. Let the rain fall down from the sky above. Let the tempest blow till it's enough. I'm trusting in the Lord of God. Let the wind blow. There are lightning in the distance. Oh, let the wind blow. There is darkness
that is wonderful. And you'll have more of Sashi as the evening progresses. But it's now time for our second Russian song of the evening. And this is a very popular Russian folk song. Originally, it was written as a serenade to the city of Leningradskaya, Veshera, but as it was popular, the Ministry of Culture in Russia said, let's change the name to Moscow, as a tribute to Moscow. So now it's called Podmoskov Veshera, and to render it for you once again, Divya Teresa. Next we have a contemporary gospel song. And this is going to be a delightful duet by two sisters, Jerusha and Jessica. Where are they? Thanks a lot. Come up front. And they'll be doing a contemporary song called Thy Word.
Is a lamp to my feet and a light
take this time from the jazz gospel singer Jesse Dixon, a song very famous for him, I Can't Even Walk. And this will be done by an ensemble from the Bethel singers. They're here and they'll be accompanied by Arul on the keyboard. Thank you so much. That brings us back to the business end of the show, where we have one of the finest bands of the South, the Signatures. We're very lucky to have them with us, a great bunch of musicians. You'll meet them in a short while. But right now, I'm going to give it over to Sashi once more to take you with another gospel hit from the past. This is from Striker, it's called Calling on You.
Inside of you, every step of the way.
unfortunately he's not well and he's not able to make it. His wife was here, but because the son was sick and coughing, they had to rush him to a doctor. So I would request Mrs. Elena Shankar, the family friend, to kindly come up and take a small presentation for Mr. Kennedy Rogola, and to the owners from the Kingdom Chorale, Mrs. Ruby Joel and Mrs. Rupa Almeida.
Thank you so much. I was really delightful with the evening. It is really a nice event, and special thanks for the Russian songs.
Thank you so much. Very pulsating song, a real well-known song, and it's another lost treasure, an old African-American Negro spiritual from before the Civil War. This is got everything, a clap-along song. But before that, I'd like you to meet some wonderful people who are very talented and who gave us their time to make this evening absolutely magical. And they are the wonderful talented musicians from the band Signatures. Let me start from here. On my right, is Praveen David, an excellent bass guitarist. And that's not all. He's a professional banker by occupation, and also he was a first division hockey player. How's that for a special package on stage? Okay. Then we have a very exciting drummer who's not just a drummer. He has drummed all genres of drumming: jazz, country, pop, you name it. He's done it. Blues. Okay. The one and only Eugene. Okay. Yes. And we had a lot of intricate guitar work. Okay. So we're looking around for somebody who can do this intricate guitar work, and we found this delightful guitarist, Issei, who's got his own music school. Okay. Thanks so much, Issei. And we have here one of the most respected violinists who's played in a lot of your Tamil songs. He's played with many orchestras, Disney orchestras, the one and only Mr. Prabhu George. A wonderful person who took time off just to make this happen. And of course, we have the find of this concert, a young, lanky, handsome teenager with a cherubic smile, very talented, the one and only Arul. Certainly a talent to watch for the years to come. We also have two wonderful violinists. Can you come up? Mr. Regan Solomon. Can you come up, please? And Joseph. Yes, Joseph. Two wonderful violinists. Yes. And of course, last but not the least, we come to the man who really made it happen. Okay, one of the finest keyboardists of the South, a businessman by day and a musician by night. A man who wears many hats. The one and only, the band leader, Dayan Selwyn. If you're from MCC, you can give him another hand. He's from MCC. And one more. He's the man, your event manager for the evening. I especially want to thank you to another unsung person. You see some of the finest music concerts in Chennai, okay, which have very, very difficult audio mixing. Choirs, ensembles, a big band. Okay, we call only one person. The one and only Mike Williams. Mike Williams, can you stand up, please? Stand up. He's also a very good bass guitarist and a composer and a singer. We always say never fear, Mike is here. Okay, so here we have an old hit from the Civil War. What is it? Mary Notivy. Thank you. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Another faux pas. Two faux pas. Okay, we missed out two vocalists. Okay, a great vocalist from the 70s who's still singing, very sought after. Shashidharan, where are you? Shashidharan, please come, Shashidharan. Okay. Every time you want some difficult songs, to bring difficult songs to life, he's there. Thanks, Shashi. And of course, we have a soprano of the evening, Teresa. Come, Divya. Thanks a million. Okay, take it, guys. You can clap along for this one. after a bit of silence, some noise comes on. Thanks, that was too much. If I were a young man, I would whistle for an encore. Okay, we come to the end of the show. All good things must come to an end. And before we end, we'd like to end with the traditional hymn of Abide With Me. So if there are choristers here, please come up on stage when we sing the song. But before that, we shall have the word of thanks. Can I have, can we see Mr. Jude Almeida? Okay. Mr. Jude Almeida, is he from here? Okay. We'll have the word of thanks and closing prayer, and then after that, we shall have singing of the Abide With Me. Actually, choristers can take your place on stage if you like. Okay. Sopranos here, altos, tenors, and basses. Okay. Mr. Jude Almeida. Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did bringing it to you. First of all, we'd like to thank the Russian Cultural Center and its wonderful director, Mr. Genadil, Mr. Rogalev, Madam Tatania, and Mrs. Elena Shankar. We'd like to thank the visiting singing groups, the Canticles, Bishop, Heber, Chapel Choir, Southern Men Group, Kingdom Chorale, Bethel Singers, and also the soloists. Surely not forgetting the band, signature band, Dayan Sir's band. And in conclusion, we thank Mr. Joshua Prakash, Mr. Dayan Selwyn, Mr. Christopher Arul, and Dr. Shanta Christopher for their immense support and tireless efforts to making this a memorable evening of good classics. Thank you and God bless. We also like to thank the Bethel team, Dinesh and Mr. Dinesh and Mr. Franklin, and all the others who have contributed and just making it a memorable evening. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a round of applause and thanking you once again for coming here. And we hope we'll have many more in the future.
This is just one more person. Was another silent angel who, at the drop of his hat, flapped his wings and went all over the town to make this happen. The one and only Mr. Jude Almeida. Okay? And he'll do the closing prayer, please. After that, we shall have the Abide With Me. The first hymn, the first verse shall be sung. The second will be hummed while the instrument violinist will play, and the third will be sung. Okay?
Kindly join with me as we have this prayer and then we will have the song. Father, we just thank you for this evening. And Lord, we just ask you, Lord, to help us, to help these musicians, Lord, that in the future, that all of them will use their gifts, Lord, to glorify your name. And we thank you for your grace and your mercy. And let your name prevail and be glorified in all that we say and do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Lord,
tonight. And just remember, it's not over till it's over, so please don't forget to wear your masks. Thank you.
Sense on the beat.